This is another true story. Everybody was begging her to go ahead. What is dating? Some people don't even know what it is.
So there has to be dating has to be with a purpose.
You can't even bother start dating if you can't spend about 250 pounds. I say what
I hear you say is that family is so important, it's crucial.
pussyfoot. I beg, not where the story is. Because you want to have some jiggy. We have BabaShola is cut now.
So they said what?
We had like 15 couples. At least 2 or 3 of those couples said, I think we need to think more about this. And I think that's healthy. You know, like sometimes you've heard of situations where a few days before the marriage, somebody does something that is just totally, I mean, I've actually, this is another true story. A week, the pressure of organizing a wedding brings out the best and the worst in people. Before the marriage, the man laid hands on the wife.
Before the marriage?
Before the marriage, in the planning stage. That was how the lady said, that's it, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. However, everybody was begging her to go ahead there because everything was already planned. And that's another thing. We must not put the wedding so much above the marriage. And I remember it's something that we've discussed or we are going to discuss. Yeah. How much should you really spend on a wedding that you'd rather compromise the future of your son or your daughter just because you've put a lot of money into planning a wedding?
How long should dating be for?
BabaShola.
It's relative.
What is dating? Some people don't even know what it is. That's a big one. I believe in dating. Dating is the period of time that you get to know each other without, with the intention. Dating should be intentional. I see that Gen Zs are just dating. They just dating with no purpose. I call it.
So there has to be dating has to be with a purpose.
Of course. Otherwise, you're wasting time. I was saying to one of my young people the other day that how much does a date cost? He says, "Oh, auntie, you can't even bother start dating if you can't spend about 250 pounds." I say, what? So
what?
Because there's such high expectations from the woman that you pay for the date and
So should that be categorized as dating with intention? If you spend 250,
that's what I'm saying. So I said, why would you go and do that? So before you even gist very well on the phone, do everything. So by the time you are going out for a date, you understand that you don't have to spend so much money. He said, yeah, but the dating, that's how we get to know each other.
I think
We need to bring some Gen Zs to the show. Let them talk to us about this because it's an issue. But if we go back to what we were saying, which is about 40 foundations, it is all about looking like, can I be with this person? And will they be able to cope with my family for the long term? In my own relationship, I remember actually before we had already decided that we were going to get married. There was a litmus test that my husband had to pass. I said, listen, there's a family wedding, and this family wedding is in Los Angeles. Everybody will be there. The good, the bad, and the extraordinary. If you can pass this test, if you can cope, is really what I was saying, then I'll know that you can be okay in my family. Because it was important. From my previous marriage, I realized that these things are very important.
So what I hear you say is that family is so important, it's crucial.
Because you can't decide who your family is. And even though I appreciate that some people say, no, my family might be so toxic, might be so disgusting that I want something different from my life. And that was exactly my situation in my first marriage. It wasn't that my ex-husband's family were toxic or anything, but he said he wanted something different from what his family wanted. And I was all for that cause. But as you get older, you defer to your family. Even when you've been estranged from them, there are aspects of them that you cannot divorce yourself from. And when you are weak or when you are going through something,
family,
you defer.
Yeah.
And depending on how strong you are, it's just an unnecessary distraction. I'm not saying that it can never work if the family don't like you. That's not what I'm saying. But if you have a choice,
it's a plus to have your
don't put yourself exactly. Don't. I'm not saying it will never work. So please don't misunderstand me, because people will be thinking, yeah, but my family, both our families are toxic. That's why we are leaving them and going to start our own. But in reality, it's better to work with that toxic family. Let them come around to understanding why you and your potential partner are good for each other, and help them have a place in that. Don't cut them off completely. Like, you people are so toxic, we don't want anything to do with you. Because it's about relationship management.
It's important that we emphasize that we are expressing our opinions. We are not saying this is the right thing to do. This is no. What we are saying is from our experience.
Yeah, but even so, let's not pussyfoot around the BabaShola. Our opinions are important because we have experience.
Yes.
And you have been married how many years?
However,
don't pussyfoot. I mean, not where the thought is. No. It's our opinion, but it's opinion that will help you very much. If you want a happy marriage, I'm very happy in my current marriage, and I've been now married for 7 years, and I knew my husband. We dated actually for, which is why when you ask me how long should you date, how long is the Spirit of Spring, because of the fact that we are both second timers, we had a lot of baggage, and we had to deal with all those baggage, and it took us 4 years to unbaggage ourselves. It took 4 years to unbaggage because we could now see the baggage that we were carrying. Again, that's not a reason not to get married, but we took the time. So if you're coming from potential toxic family relationship or families that are not in agreement with what you're doing, give yourself more time to win the families over. You're going to be together for till death do you part.
Yeah.
So why are you rushing? I know why. Because you want to have some jiggy. Then get on with the work that needs to be done quicker. Because having sex before you know that person, you have made a commitment, is a red flag.
That's another red flag.
Yes.
Okay. That is another topic on its own.
Of course, because we mentioned it in our last talk that is friendship, is that friendship with benefits, as these young people call it. What is the point of the friendship? You have to know why you're dating, what it's all about.
Yeah. I wasn't really pussyfooting. I was just trying to emphasize the point that we are not imposing our opinions.
They should know that we are not.
we are not imposing our opinions on anyone.
But that goes without saying.
I know
that goes without saying. But there are people that value what you say and value what I say, and they respect what we are saying. Yeah, so if we give them a get out clause, they'll get out.
Again, you always say, that don't assume.
No, I'm not assuming, but I'm not going to be apologetic about my stand.
Yeah, so. Okay.
Yeah, but BabaShola is hot now today. No, I think all I'm saying is let's own our point of view and not make.
Definitely.
We are owning it, and it's obviously our point of view, but it's one that we know will work for you.
Oh yeah.
It's precautionary. What we are saying, take precautions around what it is that is a potential obstacle, because it will make the marriage harder. If there's a lot of, it's like having resistance from before you started. There's plenty of haters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are haters that we can't control. But why have haters on your doorstep if you can work with it and see how we can resolve it?
There are no disclaimers from me. I've expressed, what I think.
And if you're coming from a religious perspective, it's even more important that you follow the guidelines of your religious perspective, because it's there for a reason, to safeguard you. on that point.
We shall revisit this.